the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic, real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome in here, race fans, tonight to Pensacola, Florida. The Five Flags Speedway playing host to the Carpenters Tax Service 100 here tonight for the Best Colorful Creations Pro Series presented by the Upstate Racing League. My name is Roger Muth, and alongside me here tonight we got Kelly Daw. Kelly, welcome here to the Sunshine State, Florida. The temperatures are warm. Back home with you and back home here with me, it is not so warm.
Yeah, definitely not so warm up here. We actually had some snow the other day, so definitely thankful to at least on screen have some warm views. So here now at the home of the Snowball Derby, Five Flags Speedway, we have seen some excellent racing here over the years. So hopefully these guys put on another great show.
Talking about a great show, of course, here tonight, the Carpenters Tax Service 100. It is tax time if you're here in the States. And, well, if you need tax preparation help, look no further than our friends over at Carpenters Tax Service. Hit them up today and tell them the Upstate Racing League sent you their way. Well, we've had a lot of winners this season on the tour. Their names: Justin Fuller started out hot. Matthew Barkhouse, Robbie Keneally took the next couple of wins. Joe Schaefer Jr. went to victory lane this season. Then that rookie, Robbie Keneally, back to victory lane. Barkhouse picking up a second win of the season. Bill Martin picking up an exciting one back at Lanier for the Dan Dubuque Memorial 161. Then Robbie Keneally went to victory lane. Joe Schaefer back into victory lane. And now it's time here for the 11th race of the season here for the Upstate Racing League. So the question being, who will win here at Five Flags? We've come here multiple times over the course of the last couple of seasons with the Upstate Racing League, and it's just one of those tracks. It may be the track that everybody ends the year on, but man, I don't want it to end anytime we come here.
Yeah, I'm very thankful this isn't actually the end of the season. We still have another race after this, so Five Flags almost seems like it would be the pinnacle of the season. It's actually just setting us up for one more showdown at Hickory next week.
Yeah, and the championship standings look like this coming in. Take a look at our Arts Barbershop Championship standings as we get ready to go racing here tonight. Robbie Keneally does hold a points lead over Justin Fuller. Bill Martin is third. Guillaume Fortin. Brian Hacker is sitting there in fifth. Justin McDuff is back there in sixth. Seventh goes to Mike Alexander. Joe Schaefer Jr. is eighth in the championship standings. Barkhouse, then Edson round down the top 10 in the Arts Barbershop Championship standings coming into the night. 2 races left on the docket, and of course, tonight being a Coach's Corner Challenge race, that means we get to, well, invert a couple of these cars. It's one of the only times they do get to qualify this season. So as they're out there qualifying now, it looks like everybody's done. So let's hit that invert wheel and see where all these drivers are going to line up here tonight. Looks like we're going to go the top 3 rows here tonight. So the top 3 rows, the top 6 drivers, I believe that is, will invert themselves 1 through 6 accordingly. I believe that was going to be Robbie Keneally starting P number 1 here tonight, so he'll start back there in 6th. How important is qualifying here tonight, Kelly, and with that invert?
Well, the invert, these guys couldn't exactly know where they would wind up because we did just spin it right then. So it's a bit of a crapshoot for these guys up front. They want to start up front. They know it's going to be tough to pass here, but with that invert, it kind of throws a wrench into some of these plans. And Robbie Keneally, after running such a fast time to start the race, he's going to be all the way back in the field.
Yeah, and he is one of those Racing Designs Rookie of the Year candidates, and I do believe if he finishes 20th or higher here tonight, he will wrap up the Racing Designs Rookie of the Year. So we'll see where he finishes at the end of this one. And that Coach's Corner Challenge, taking a look at that, Justin Fuller has a 50-point race lead right now over Brian Hacker. Those are the two battling it out, and tonight is the final race of that Coach's Corner Challenge. To be eligible in the Coach's Corner Challenge, you have to compete with the Best Colorful Creations Pro Series on asphalt, along with the Bartell Builders Big Block Series on the dirt side of things with the Upstate Racing League. And 18 drivers have making at least one attempt from the dirt to the asphalt side of things, and it has come down to just those two. Right now, what Brian Hacker needs, if he wants to win this Coach's Corner Challenge, it would be him needing to win tonight here in Pensacola, and Justin Fuller to finish about 26th on the lineup at the end of the evening. And I don't believe we have 26 drivers here tonight. I believe we're just under that 26 driver entry marker, so that's going to be pretty difficult to do at this point if you're Brian Hacker.
Yeah, but Justin Fuller, he's not going to be just kind of sitting back and taking it easy tonight, because he's still in the hunt for the Best Colorful Creations Pro Series Championship. So he's going to be trying to chase down Robbie Keneally, who's got himself quite a good points lead. So he has to hope for some troubles for Keneally tonight, and he has to work his way up through the field, because he's going to be starting all the way back in 18th.
So that is a very, very big deficit to overcome, because the fields here with the Best Colorful Creations Pro Series are some of the best on the iRacing.com simulator. iRacing.com, of course, the simulator platform we do use here with the Upstate Racing League, and it is by far the #1 sim racing game out there to hone your skills in for these drivers. So tonight, though, we talked about the Racing Designs Rookie of the Year Championship battle. We talked about the Arts Barbershop Championship standings. Well, now it's time to start to gear up and start to tweak the mind to get ready for the Carpenters Tax Service 100. And we talked about it being the second to last race of the season. We, of course, will finish off the season this year with the Best Colorful Creations Championship 150 next week at the Hickory Motors Speedway. I'm excited for that one. But, I mean, when you look at the iRacing.com platform and you look at all the tracks we've been to this season, we've been to the cornfields in Iowa to start things out. We hung out down at the beach at Myrtle Beach Speedway. We went up to Irwindale, across the country, out into the desert at the Bull Ring. Then we went back up north to the great wilderness of Oxford. We stopped down in Richmond, took a trip to South Boston, Lanier, Langley, Southern National, and Five Flags. And I'd have to rank this schedule along with this track. It's, you know, the best track and the best schedule we've ever had here with the Upstate Racing League.
Yeah, definitely a fantastic mix of tracks we've had all throughout the season. We've seen everything from pretty tiny little bull rings like Oxford Plains all the way up to tracks like Iowa, where these cars were pretty much on the limiter going down the straightaways.
Tires will come into a factor here tonight. We'll see which one of these drivers are able to overcome that one. And I do believe, if I'm looking at it right now, the top time here in our practice, our little warm-up session, is Robbie Keneally, who did set the quick time here tonight. He will start 6th. Ellie Musgrave, a driver that's been highly talked about this season, she is coming in here tonight. She set quick time in practice earlier here tonight, and she's setting second quick here. What is the underdog Rookie of the Year here for Ellie Musgrave? She had a good couple of weeks, the past couple of weeks, stringing together some really good runs, just has not got the finishes that this rookie deserves.
Yeah, she's had some decent runs and getting up towards the front of the field. However, trouble just always seems to find Musgrave, and she always just ends up with some damage on her race car, getting caught up in an incident that keeps her pinned back in the rear of the field. So really, she just has to focus on keeping that car clean and kind of letting the positions come to her. I'm sure she can wind up getting a good finish if she kind of focuses on that.
Looks like we're just about ready. Final laps going on the board for these drivers here tonight. And we're getting them ready. The Best Colorful Creations Pro Series. The Best Colorful Creations, of course, is the cake provider for the Upstate Racing League. They will be in attendance this year at the Upstate Racing Banquet. Those dates are over on our Facebook page. Make sure to take a look at the Upstate Racing Facebook page, because there's some very big detailed information is coming out tomorrow at lunchtime. So make sure to head on over to the Facebook page, the Upstate Racing League Facebook page, and get those details. But it's time to set the field here tonight. This is your starting lineup here for our Carpenters Tax Service 100 right here at the Five Flags Speedway in Pensacola, Florida. Starting on the front row, he'll invert back to 6th, though. So Bill Martin will actually start on the front row. The driver of car number 39 will start P number 1. Guillaume Fortin of the 13 QC will start right alongside him, and the next row back, it'll be the 56 of Trey Etzen with Matthew Barkhouse sitting there in 4th. 5th, we'll go to the number 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr. and the 1K of Robbie Keneally, that Racing Designs Rookie of the Year, will start back there in 6th. 7th, then, will be the Brian Rogers Motorsports, number 12 of Brian Rogers Jr. 8th, will go to the driver out of Huntley, Illinois, driving car number 11, Illinois. That's Brian Hacker back there in 8th. 9th will be the 75 of Mike Alexander in the Rev Racing, number 75. He'll start 9th. 10th will then go to the 98 Ohio of Chris Stump, having his best qualifying effort of the season.
Ellie Musgrave, the driver we were just talking about, she's going to be starting her night all the way back in 11th with Matt Eddy to her outside. That 73 car of Vernon Woodard, he's going to be starting in P number 13. I'm getting things a little mixed up from the timing and scoring sheet with Matt Eddy on his outside. The big boss man himself, Al Smith Jr., will be rolling off in 15th. Colin Phillip, he'll be starting in 16th. Jeremy Carpenter in that one machine, he'll be rolling off P number 17. Justin Fuller, one of our championship contenders, he's going to have a tough night. He starts all the way back in 18th. E.J. O'Rourke, he'll be rolling off in P number 19 with that 41 machine. And Brett Bartels in the 2B, he'll be rolling off in 20th.
21st, we go to the Catch 22 Motorsports, number 22 of Mike Holtzclaw. It'll be the Misfit Motorsports Best Colorful Creations, number 81 of Jimmy McIntyre back in 22nd. 23rd, then will be A.J. Hamill. He will round down the field here tonight as we're ready to go racing here in Pensacola, Florida. It is the Best Colorful Creations Pro Series presented by the Upstate Racing League. Carpenters Tax Service 100. This time will come into the Hanson Starter Shop Restart Zone. Hacker will be to the outside. It'll be Guillaume Fortin down to the inside here tonight. We are geared up. Put 100 laps on the board this time by the Hanson Starter Shop Restart Zone will come active as we are ready. We are racing here at Five Flags.
Guillaume Fortin with a strong start. He's going to race off into turn number 1 with the whole field in tow. Here comes that 15 of Matthew Barkhouse. He's trying to get his nose to the inside of Brian Hacker. He looks like he's going to be there. He's going to hold that preferred line. However, Hacker's going to run that high side, try to carry the momentum. A little slide, though, is going to kill his momentum.
That Racing Designs number 13, Guillaume Fortin, slid up the speedway just a little bit. One driver down on pit road, Bill Martin, making an unscheduled stop here. It does look like he will get right back out onto the racing surface. Maybe slid down into pit road. So Guillaume leads lap number 1. He'll lead lap number 2. Matthew Barkhouse down to the inside here on Brian Hacker, trying to work his way through. They had a little contact that time. Here comes that R&R Kinsman Auto Salvage number 15. He'll shoot ahead just by about the fender length down into turn 3.
Quick update on one of our supposed to be front row starters, Bill Martin. He actually had some issues, missed the start of this race, so he'll start a few laps down. Matthew Barkhouse, though, he still holds onto that inside line. Just behind him, we see Joe Schaefer Jr. He's battling with that 56 of Edson. Edson is going to finally pull back and drop into that bottom line.
So as they go single file back there for that 5th position, they're still stacked up here double file for P number 2. It's still Hacker and Barkhouse as they're 3 wide. Brian Rogers Jr. going to miss the corner down in 1 and 2. He's going to lose a couple spots. He'll drop out of the top 10. Little contact. Justin Fuller, Colin Phillip making a little contact. Phillip into the back of car number 51. Now Phillip going to lose it off turn 4. Sideways, pointed to the inside wall. He'll save it. He'll come up the speedway in turn number 1. There is a little contact. That was Carpenter in the Oldsmobile entry. But boy, car number 53, very lucky that time out of 4.
Yeah, I think he did pick up a little bit of damage to his front end for his troubles, so unfortunate for that 53 car, but he did do his best to save that thing and definitely prevented any further damage. But going back towards the front of the field, the battle for second place still hasn't been resolved. The 15 and the 11, neither one wanting to give an inch, and both of them door to door as they cross the line once again on lap 8 to start lap 8.
Right on board with the Dr. Noise Custom Graphics and Diecast 1K of Robbie Keneally, the driver out of California. He is just sitting there waiting, biding his time, trying to figure out if it's going to be the inside lane or the outside lane that does prevail here for Matthew Barkhouse or Brian Hacker as they come back around. They'll start lap number 9 now, almost 10% into this one. Now it'll be the 15 of Matthew Barkhouse, looking like he will take that position from Hacker. Now it'll be Robbie Keneally's turn as he takes the 1K down to the bottom side. There you see the Epic Media, number 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr. He's sitting there. The Clemson, number 56, Trey Edson. Everybody pretty much down around the bottom. Hacker's been stuck to the outside. Another one of the drivers that are on the outside. It's the 88 of Matt Eddy. He's picked up 4 spots here in the early going, but he's just one of those drivers. There's very few of them. It does look like the 73, Vernon Woodard, also to the outside. Just a handful of them left to the outside groove.
Yeah, I'm sure Guillaume Fortin was very happy seeing that battle rage on behind him for so long, because that was forcing both Barkhouse and Hacker to work their tires just a little bit more and allowed Fortin to open up a lead. He's almost a full second off of that 15 car at this point. He is running away from everyone else.
About identical times last time by at the line for the race leader, though, and Matthew Barkhouse. We'll see if that does continue. Brian Hacker still trying to shred the outside lane here tonight. So Brian Hacker in that Carbon Junction Pathfinder's chassis, number 11 Illinois, has just not been able to find or work his way down to the bottom side of the Speedway. And how much has this really started to tear the tires up on that car?
I mean, you'd think since he can't use the whole width of the track and he's kind of being forced to push it on the high side, and with there not being all that much banking in the grand scheme of things here at Five Flags, I wouldn't be surprised if he's got that right front just burning up at this point, and that's really going to hurt him in the long run unless he is going to get a lucky caution and try to dive down into pit road and change those tires out.
Robbie Keneally trying to make a move here on Matthew Barkhouse, and he'll actually go to the bottom side of the Speedway. He hit the cone that time entering turn number 1, but we are allowed to hit the virtual cone. It does not hurt the cone's feelings, so don't feel bad for the cone. It'll be there. Look, there it is again in that camera shot. It's down there. It's A-OK. It's not like we're at the Chili Bowl. One driver losing a spot down into turn number 1. Here comes the Best Colorful Creations, number 81 of Jimmy McIntyre. Driver out of New York, passing car number 22, so Holtzclaw will go back to the 20th position. A.J. Hamill in the Arts Barbershop, number 18, VTNY, is sitting back there, right ahead of E.J. O'Rourke. Those two cars are the tail of the field on the lead lap. Bill Martin is being scored 1 lap down to the race leader of Guillaume Fortin, who is out front. He'll come by this time. He'll complete lap number 17 here, clicking them off here tonight in the Carpenters Tax Service 100.
Battle for second place, though, as Robbie Keneally gets the inside of the 15 of Barkhouse, and he is going to, Barkhouse into the wall. That is going to completely kill off any chance he had to fight back against the 1K, and Robbie Keneally is going to easily take over second place.
So here comes that Reaper Speed Labs entry, the 1K of Keneally, the driver out of California, racing this season for a Rookie of the Year title and also to take home the Arts Barbershop Championship here with the Best Colorful Creations Pro Series. And, well, it's been a while since we've seen a rookie come in. Well, call it about 5 years since we've seen a rookie come in and do exactly what Robbie Keneally has done. Matt Coker out of Pennsylvania was the last driver that we saw come in as a rookie and win a championship and dominate, win as many races as Robbie Keneally has this season. Still time for more race wins for Keneally as he's trying to take that second spot. He got there, and now all of a sudden it seemed like he kind of stalled out right there with the 15 of Barkhouse on the quarter panel. That time, Barkhouse got a great run off turn 2.
And Barkhouse just keeping his nose there is preventing Keneally to get the runs off the corner that he needs to fully out-drag that 15 car. So he's just pinning the 1K down to the bottom side and just forcing Keneally to keep it a little tighter on exit. Now he's going to get cleared and finally pull up. That's going to allow Barkhouse to try to dive underneath. He's going to get a nose inside, going to keep Keneally off the bottom line, but Keneally's able to hold on to enough momentum and close it off on the exit.
So it'll be Keneally picking up P number 2, bumping Barkhouse back to the 3rd spot. Joe Schaefer Jr. is there running in the position number 4. Look at Brian Hacker. He's finally, after 20 laps, been able to find his way to the bottom side of the Speedway, right in front of Trey Edson. So everybody down single file, except for actually one car, and it's going to be the 88 of Matt Eddy. He is sitting there on the outside of the number 51 of Justin Fuller. So the driver out of Michigan battling the New York driver here around the Speedway. 24 laps about to be complete. Working lap number 25 as Eddie's still to the outside of the 51.
Fuller still trying to work his way up through the field. He's up 7 positions. I believe he is our biggest mover of the night so far, and I don't think that 51 car is done just yet, but he still has to finish the job on Matt Eddy, and Matt Eddy holding on for dear life on that outside line. We've been able to see the outside line hang on, but we haven't been able to see it really make a pass just yet here tonight. It may come in later on when people start to wear their tires or change their tires, but right now we see the number 51 of Justin Fuller get through on that bottom side.
So Fuller picking up the spot. That's the 7th spot gain tonight here for Justin Fuller, a driver of that 51. Started back outside the top 15. Now he's knocking on the back door of a top 10. It's the rookie candidate here this season, the Narrative Coffee, driver out of Washington State. 18-year-old Ellie Musgrave right now holding that 10th position. Remember, we talked about her quick time in our practice session early and second quickest in our warm-up session. Didn't lay down a burner, though, in qualifying. Qualified outside the top 10, qualifying 11th, and now running inside the top 10, picking up one spot here in the first 30 laps of this event. It is still Guillaume Fortin, Robbie Keneally, Matthew Barkhouse, 1, 2, and 3, Joe Schaefer Jr., Brian Hacker, as everybody gets that conveyor belt down on the bottom side of the speedway.
And Keneally now slowly reeling in the gap to Guillaume Fortin, and we've seen this a few times throughout the season. Keneally is a very fast driver, and there's just a few of these tracks that kind of play right into his hand, and it seems like Five Flags might be one of those. He has been flying all throughout the night, both in practice, qualifying, and now in the race, as he once again coming across the line. He's gonna put up a little bit slower that time. Actually, he was much faster the previous lap, and it really closed the gap on Fortin, but now he's still just a little bit faster than Fortin, though.
Fastest driver is the 5th place car last time by Brian Hacker, but he's kind of has nowhere to go unless he wants to go right through the taillights there of car number 6, that Epic Media number 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr. running there in the 4th spot. Remember, Schaefer having to invert his qualifying spot here tonight, so had to start a little bit farther back. Colin Phillip losing some more ground here in the Narrative Coffee. Carbon Junction entry. There you see car number 53. He just lost a spot. That is E.J. O'Rourke. E.J. O'Rourke having a rough battle here tonight. I'm used to seeing him inside the top 10 here in these pro late models, as he's back, looks like 20th currently, following the number 18 of A.J. Hamill. Remember a couple of weeks ago, this A.J. Hamill entry, the driver out of Vermont. 99 laps, Kelly, leading 99 3/4. We should say is, oh, there's A.J. sideways. Caution. Caution lights coming. Oh, Holtzclaw into the outside wall.
And I think the commentator's curse just struck right there, as the 18 just getting a little bit of a shove from the 41 of O'Rourke causes that big checkup, and our first caution flag of the night comes in a little over a third of the way into this race.
That wasn't my fault. I don't know what you're talking about. We're blame KR. He's not here tonight.
We always blame KR, but I think that works.
See, it works. Let's take a look back here on the Turn 3 Racing replay here. Watch the 18 NY of A.J. Hamill, 41 of E.J. O'Rourke. We watched it, and a little bump right there. Wasn't quite squared up, and then Colin Phillip nowhere to go, running into the back of E.J. O'Rourke, and Mike Holtzclaw with a huge hit. Let's ride on board with the Dr. Noise onboard camera with Mike Holtzclaw. See the contact out ahead of them. There's the 53 into the 41, and E.J. O'Rourke just coming back up the track. Mike Holtzclaw nowhere to go, and absolutely just killed our onboard camera.
Yeah, hard shot for Holtzclaw. I think he's going to be the biggest loser from that. He is still in the pits with some heavy damage to that 22 machine, and I wouldn't be surprised if that is going to be the end of the night for Holtzclaw, unfortunately.
So still early in this one here tonight for the Carpenters Tax Service 100 here at Pensacola, Florida at the Five Flags Speedway. It has been Guillaume Fortin leading the way, but now Robbie Keneally will be able to regroup here. He won't have to run him down because, well, the yellow flag will put him side by side when we come back into the Hanson Starter Shop restart zone. I believe we should get the 1-to-go marker this time, so it'll be Fortin, Keneally, Barkhouse, Schaefer, Hacker, Edson, your top 6 drivers here, as let's see if the caution lights go out, as they do not. So we're coming back around here at least one more time. While we have time, we got to thank all the race fans for tuning in here tonight on the Turn 3 Racing Network to catch the best Gulf Oak Creations Pro Series presented by the Upstate Racing League. We thank you for your continued support here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. We welcome you to Five Flags tonight.
And hopefully we will be getting the 1-to-go signal this time around. I'm sure Guillaume Fortin, though, would be more than happy to do a few more laps under caution, just because his lead that he had built over the rest of the field was completely wiped out, and now he's going to have one of his biggest competitors, Robbie Keneally, starting to his outside.
So this time the lights go out, so it'll be the Racing Designs number 13 QC on the front row here. He is the control car. He does not have to wait till our official here tonight does throw the green flag. He can go at any point, so or wait for the iRacing.com pace car to make its way to pit road. Hanson starter shop green flag is pending. It'll be 39 out of the 100 laps in the books here tonight for the pro late models. Keneally going to go way up high here on this restart, try and fire off to carry the momentum. The green flag back into the air as we're green here on lap number 40. Yum down to the bottom side. Look at Robbie Keneally challenge on the outside for the race lead. They're pulled even down the back straightaway.
Keneally going to get a nose ahead. He's going to be the first driver to pass on the outside tonight. He might be carrying a lot of speed through turns 3 and 4. He's going to have the run off the corner, and he will completely clear the 13 QC before the start-finish line. So move Robbie Keneally in that 1K car up to the top of the field.
New leader for the first time here tonight. Robbie Keneally leads down the back straightaway. Led last time by Guillaume Fortin. Now starting to close in here, but he won't be able to do anything with it. Here comes the 6, Joe Schaefer Jr. trying to get around the number 15 of Matthew Barkhouse. Barkhouse down on the bottom side. We just saw Robbie Keneally take the race lead on the outside. Now Joe Schaefer Jr. looks like he might be able to take P number 3 from the outside. Slides a little high that time, entering turn number 3. See what kind of momentum that Epic Media machine can hold off the corner. It's good enough to take the position at the line, just not able to clear to get back down to the bottom side.
And it looks like that top line is going to be coming in here tonight. Joe Schaefer Jr. is now going to be completely clear of Barkhouse, but just behind him, we got another driver trying the high side. Trey Edson, he's trying to get around the 11 of Brian Hacker. We saw these guys get in a bit of a tangle on the restart, but they were able to keep their cars going in the right direction and still door to door and right up against each other, leaning on each other in the corner. And that's going to send the 56 way up the racetrack.
3 wide this time off turn number 4. Oh, it's not going to work. 2 cars into the outside wall, 1 car to the inside. That's the 20 of McDuff down to the inside. I believe that was the 75 of Mike Alexander that got sent into the outside wall there. Colin Phillip, Jimmy McIntyre, Chris Stump, Justin McDuff all getting involved here, along with the 75 of Mike Alexander. We'll have to wait as the second caution flag of the evening is out right before the halfway point home here tonight. So Thursday night short track racing, this is your replay. Let's take a look here. Watch the 56s to the outside. So they were 3 wide off 4. The 98 Ohio up into Mike Alexander, Justin Fuller, Ellie Musgrave, Matt Eddy involved. And there you see the 81 of Jimmy McIntyre Jr. involved as he'll roll away from the incident, as the Stay Salty number 20 of Justin McDuff, who was running up inside the top 10 at the time of the incident. That's what brings out the caution flag here tonight. Let's ride on board with Chris Stump and see what he saw. Didn't quite know there was contact. All of a sudden, there's the 20 to the inside as he was sideways and hard into the turn 1 retaining wall.
Yeah, and it looks like the 98 just was not aware that they were suddenly 3 wide. He kind of probably lost track of where that 56 went with the 75 kind of blocking his view, and then last second probably got the call they were 3 wide right as he was tracking off the corner, expecting the 75 to be way higher up the racetrack.
Couple drivers coming to pit road here. Mike Alexander, Al Smith Jr., Bill Martin, who's back onto the lead lap here now, so he'll take advantage of coming down to get fresh tires here at the halfway point. Brett Bartels, Justin McDuff, Jimmy McIntyre, Chris Stump, all on pit road. 1 car not returning to the racing surface here tonight. That'll be car number 22, the Catch 22 Motorsports number 22. That is Mike Holtzclaw. He will call it a night here in Pensacola, Florida. The night's still young, so he can go out and, well, virtually get a tan here while he's in Florida, because, well, once we leave the state of Florida, we will head to our final race of the season. We will head to the Hickory Motor Speedway for the final race of season number 11 for the Upstate Racing League. It'll be the Best Colorful Creations Championship 150. So interested to see how that one plays out next week to wrap up the season. And I hate to say that, Kelly, that we're coming to the end of the season already. It seems like, you know, we only get so little of racing here with the Upstate Racing League, and it's just over the winter months while everybody's kind of cooped up at home because it's too darn cold or snowing or sleeting or whatever outside. So we come here to the iRacing.com platform for a little bit of relaxation, but it just seems like we just don't get enough of the racing that we deserve.
Oh yeah, it always feels like the series goes by way too fast with only 12 races, and this year especially, it's felt like it's just flown by, and I can't believe that we're already just in our last 2 races of the season. And it's unfortunate we can't run it all year round with a lot of these guys being busy over the summer months with their actual real world race teams, but we get to enjoy what we get here.
As we get ready to come back into the Hanson Starter Shop restart zone, it'll be Guillaume Fortin firing it back off. We're green flag racing once again in Florida. As it's the 56 now. Trey Edson, there's Justin Fuller. Ellie Musgrave is right there. One car going around in turn number 1. It's going to pile a couple of them up. Robbie Keneally has gone around to bring the caution flag out. So Robbie Keneally is caught up in this wreck. I believe E.J. O'Rourke also involved, but Robbie Keneally, your Arts Barbershop Championship top spot driver here tonight, and of course our Racing Designs Rookie of the Year Championship leader, in some problems here in Florida at the halfway point, and there's a lot of damage done to the 1K.
Yeah, he got sent hard into that little cutout for the emergency vehicles, so just hit the wall at a really bad angle and put some heavy damage to that machine. And I don't know if he may have damaged the engine, but he has definitely damaged that left front. It is not pointing in the right direction.
Take a look at the 1K of Robbie Keneally. That is E.J. O'Rourke that got hit by Colin Phillip. He went sideways. The 15. Oh, the 15 there of Matthew Barkhouse made the contact with the 1K of Keneally. Put Keneally into the outside wall. Right on board with the Best Colorful Creations onboard camera with the 1K of Robbie Keneally. See the contact from the 53 to E.J. O'Rourke, and then out of nowhere, the 15 who got tapped and turned put Robbie Keneally right into that cutout, that Kelly, that you alluded to. That is heavy nose contact.
Yeah, and resulted in some heavy damage for Robbie Keneally, but this is exactly what Fortin and Fuller wanted to see. This is a good opportunity for them to try to close the points gap going into the final race, and you can essentially say that Keneally is out of contention here tonight, because even if he can get that car back out there and get back on the lead lap, he's got so much damage to that machine. I don't think it'll be able to bring him to the front, even with the skill that he has. So this is exactly what Fortin and Fuller needed.
Yeah, especially Fuller is sitting there in P3. He's moved up 15 spots. And how about A.J. Hamilton? Wasn't he just involved in that caution flag, call it about 15, 16 laps ago? Well, he's moved up 15 spots. Also, A.J. Hamill is running inside the top 10. He is running 8th currently, 1 spot ahead of Jeremy Carpenter. Colin Phillip back there running into the 10th spot. Guillaume Fortin, though, is still the race leader. That Racing Designs Porsche 13 QC is leading. You don't see too many QCs. We got, or not Porsches. As we got a Porsche here tonight, we have a bunch of Fords, Chevrolets, we have a Pontiac, a Dodge, and I believe we have one lonely Oldsmobile. I don't even think they make Oldsmobile anymore.
And we are getting official word, though. The 1K is going behind the wall. His night is done and dusted. So Fortin and Fuller, they just have to focus on having a good finish here tonight. They just need to get as many points as they possibly can just to have a hope of getting a final battle next week at Hickory.
So now, as we go single file formation here to take the Hanson Starter Shop restart zone green flag. What's on the mind here, though, Fuller? Do you go for it, try to pick up the win, close the gap?
I think Fuller has to go for it as we go back green flag racing. Trey Edson trying to chase down Guillaume Fortin, and I think Edson is probably in the most precarious position right now, caught between the two championship contenders that are trying to close that gap up to the 1K of Keneally.
So it will be Guillaume Fortin, though, leading that lap back across the line. There you see the two teammates running there. That is probably the toughest spot to be if you're Edson. You want to go up and battle for the win, but you know Justin Fuller needs the championship points. There's still a lot of racing to go, so the deck of cards is just half under right now. But we will see how this all works out. Side-by-side battle, as it looks like Brian Rogers was in a battle. One car has gone around to bring the caution lights out for the 4th time. And that will be the 11 Illinois of Brian Hacker as he turns around that Carbon Junction, Narrative Coffee, Pathfinder's Chassis. He was inside the top 5. He's battling the 51 of Justin Fuller for a championship on the Coach's Corner Challenge side of things, but he is involved in this caution flag. Take a look back. What happened to Hacker here off turn number 4? The other Carbon Junction entry, number 53, of Colin Phillip, up into the outside wall, and unfortunately, Hacker definitely in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Take a look at our best colorful creation. There you see the 53 go up into the outside wall, and unfortunately, Hacker just gets that right side crushed in, and he keeps it off the wall, and Doesn't hit anybody else, but he will be the cause of caution.
Yeah, a little bit of friendly fire between teammates there, unfortunately, is you were definitely right. Hacker just in the wrong place at the wrong time. That 53 of Phillip was in the wall, and it just kind of kicked him off the wall right at the wrong moment for Hacker, who was just trying to get by on the inside.
So, taking a peek at what our running order looks like right now, it will be Guillaume Fortin out front here. It'll be Trey Edson, Justin Fuller, Ellie Musgrave, Brian Rogers, AJ Hamill, Jeremy Carpenter, Joe Schaefer Jr., Matthew Barkhouse, Bill Martin. And how about Bill Martin being able to claw his way back into things here? He was a driver that was going to start inside the invert here in the top 6 and missing the call to the grid. Did start at the drop of the green flag from pit road, went a lap down, got the lucky dog as we approach the halfway point of this race. Now he's sitting in 10th.
Yeah, he definitely had a bit of a long road ahead of him, but he got lucky with that first caution bringing him back onto the lead lap before he got put any further down the field. And with a lot of these other cars pitting, and I believe he did pit as well to get some fresh tires put on, he's been able to put himself in a good position, and I think he's one of those cars that's mostly clean. There's a little bit of damage to that left front, but he's been able to keep himself out of trouble and keep that 39 car looking pretty good. So I'd say Bill Martin has some good chances to gain a few more spots before this race is over.
Kelly, have you ever tuned in to watch Bill Martin, a.k.a. Dr. Noise, race from his in-car camera?
I would imagine that's quite chaotic considering just how he is during our interviews.
Our Twitter feed, our Facebook page blows up after a night of Bill Martin finishing on the podium when we get to talk to him. So if you could imagine what his post-race interviews sound like, wait till you see him in the car racing. He runs a lot of NR03, so he makes his own mods over there, and they're quite outstanding. But the racing is absolutely crazy, and we're about to see some more crazy racing as we get ready to come back to the Hanson Starter Shop restart zone.
Pace car pulls away, and Guillaume Fortin immediately on the throttle, and he's going to launch off into turn number 1 to get the Hanson Starter Shop green flag. As the rest of the field tries to get into position, AJ Hamill, he's trying to make another move on that outside. Like you mentioned, he was involved in an accident a few laps back, and now he's got himself in 6th place trying for more.
So AJ Hamill's night is not quite done as he'll take the spot there from Jeremy Carpenter. Carpenter will fall back into the 8th spot, but here comes Joe Schaefer Jr. He'll go around the outside of the number 1, the Carpenter Tax Service Oldsmobile, now falling back through the field here. Carpenter has not come to pit road. He is the first car that has not come to pit road tonight. He's being scored in the 8th spot. 67 laps about to go in the books as the battle is for second. Here comes Justin Fuller. He's got his teammate on the outside, though. Edson, how hard do you race him right now? This time out of turn 4, 67 in the books, as Guillaume Fortin still the race leader.
Yeah, I think Edson going to try to just let him through and try to get down in front of Musgrave, but that's not going to quite work. Ellie's going to get herself nosed up there, but going to lose this position down the back straightaway as just a large enough gap opens up for that 56 machine to slot down. Now here comes AJ Hamill. He's still working that car, and he's up around that 6 machine of Joe Schaefer Jr. Going to get into the back end, though, of Brian Rogers Jr., and that's going to allow Schaefer to get back on the outside.
Yeah, Hamill got into the back of car number 12 there of Rogers, and Rogers got sideways, so it checked both up on the bottom side. That allowed the number 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr. to get right back into this one. There you see Schaefer on the outside, and he didn't get a good run that time into 1, but now here comes Bill Martin banging on the back of that Orca Coolers entry. AJ Hamill's got to take the barber shop scissors right now and start trimming some of these drivers' hairs to get around them, because Brian Rogers Jr. is in front of him. Then it's Ellie Musgrave, Trey Edson, Justin Fuller. Guillaume Fortin still out front here, closing in on just 25 laps to go here tonight in the Carpenters Tax Service 100 here from the Five Flag Speedway. Schaefer still working the outside of that 18.
Yes, Schaefer still trying to make that outside line work and make that outside pass. He had started to lose ground on him. It almost looked like AJ Hamill was going to get himself clear, but that 6 machine has surged once more. And now he is actually starting to nose ahead of AJ Hamill. Coming down the, AJ, big slide off of turn number 4. He's going to lose the position, maybe even 2.
He was pointed to the inside wall there. I didn't think A.J. Hamill was going to be able to pull back the curtain that time, but he was able to. He holds on to it just behind him. Now Brian Hacker was taking a peek to the inside. Brett Bartels, he's been very quiet here tonight on the asphalt side of things. This driver having some good runs. One driver up the track, that's Jeremy Carpenter, overshoots turn number 1. Bartels going to get underneath that number 1 now, so the 2B looking to see if he can get one spot closer to a top 10 finish. And he'll be contact as he slides up. He'll open the door. Hacker nowhere to go, right behind him.
Yeah, but he's going to get himself slotted into that bottom lane with it. One of Jeremy Carpenter still trying to hang on the outside. Carpenter not quite going to get there. He's actually going to lose ground. And now the 11, Brian Hacker, he's going to get to the inside. Oh, the 2B of Bartels. He's sideways. He's around off turn 4.
Caution lights with 25 to go. Brett Bartels, Al Smith Jr., Jeremy Carpenter, and I believe the 11 Illinois, Brian Hacker, all involved in a wreck here on the front straightaway out of turn number 4. So the 5th caution flag of the evening will be displayed here in the Carpenters Tax Service 100. As take the look back, see what happened here. This was all battling just outside the top 10. See the 2B comes off turn 4. He goes to hit the gas, and you see the 1 of Carpenter check up, and Matt Eddy into the back of Carpenter, and now Smith, an innocent bystander, along with Brian Hacker, getting some damage as he drove by the wreck too. Right on board here with Al Smith, as you see what the driver out of South Glens Falls, New York saw. Al almost made it through that. Looks like the boss man hit the brakes just a little too hard at the rear end of the Stand RC Speedway entry. Went around to be part of the caution flag.
Well, one car we're going to have to keep an eye on towards the last quarter of this race is going to have to be Joe Schaefer Jr. in that 6 car. I mean, he's the first driver that, or he's the lead driver among those that came down pit road on lap 46, 47 during that caution. And he's been slowly working his way up through the field, now into the top 5, and he still has a lot of time left in this race to try to get a few more spots. And I think he's one of our contenders maybe that could maybe come after Guillaume Fortin if Fortin can't keep those tires clean.
How many times have we seen this? And you've already called the announcer, the broadcaster, jinx here tonight. So we're going to throw that out the window. We've already played that card. That one is over with. Guillaume Fortin out front here. We've seen that numerous times this season. The driver out of Quebec just not been able to close the door. But we've seen some very good finishes this season. Put those new tires. Joe Schaefer Jr., he's back there. So do you think the new tires are going to come up here and pass the youngster of Guillaume Fortin, or do you think tonight might be his night? He's out front.
He just has to keep himself calm and focus on just driving his own race. He can't control what Joe Schaefer's doing. He just has to focus on hitting his marks, running the best that he can, and try to keep that gap as much as possible, because it's one thing that for Schaefer just be faster. He still has a few cars in front of him that he has to pass to be able to come after Guillaume Fortin, and he'd also have to get through Justin Fuller, who I don't see giving up that position anytime soon.
Remember, Fuller is in that Coach's Corner Challenge Championship with Brian Hacker, and that's going to come down to the wire here tonight, as we should see the lights on the official iRacing.com pace car go out. They do, so that means we're going back around here one more time. We're going to stack them back up, and we're going to drop the green flag. It'll be Guillaume Fortin out front here with Justin Fuller, Trey Edson, Ellie Musgrave. Then it'll be Joe Schaefer Jr., Brian Rodgers, Bill Martin, A.J. Hamill is not being scored there in that position. They'll re-score him back outside the top 10. That'll be Matthew Barkhouse, E.J. O'Rourke, then A.J. Hamill. iRacing.com pace car in the Hanson starter shop. Green flag is in the air. 19 to go.
And Fuller, he's going to try to make a move on the outside. He's going to have his best chance of the night to challenge for the race lead, and he's going to take it. He's going to keep a nose to the outside down the back straightaway. Fortin going to try to battle on the inside, slides up the racetrack just a bit. That's going to allow the field to bunch up a little bit, and they are going to be door-to-door completely even up across the start-finish line.
It was Guillaume at the line, but Fuller is right there too. Guillaume going to roll the bottom, and it's actually going to slow him up a little bit. Justin Fuller now going to nose ahead. He'll slide down in front of the 13 QC. New race leader, 17 to go. It's the driver out of New York. Justin Fuller is now your race leader.
And watch that 6 of Schaefer Jr. still creeping up behind him. He's got himself up into 4th, still has a few cars in front of him to go, and Trey Edson, Guillaume Fortin completely blocking the racetrack as they battle side by side. It is going to be Edson, though, at the stripe. He's going to have about half a car advantage over that 13 QC.
Right on board, Justin Fuller here with the Xander Sign Group onboard camera. He is your race leader. Watching the team car number 56, Trey Edson take over P number 2. Guillaume Fortin now fading here. Here comes Joe Schaefer Jr. battling to his outside. Will he be able to make it work? We've seen these couple cars go to the outside here on this restart and make it work. Remember, he does have fresher tires than the G-Man down low here, as he'll slide off the bottom that time. Here comes that Epic Media number 6. He'll have a great run down into turn number 1.
And now for Trey Edson, it is his job to be a tail gunner. He has to make sure it is very difficult to pass him to even make it up to Justin Fuller. He just has to kill as much time as possible, trying to allow Justin to just hang on to that lead, maybe stretch the gap a little bit, because here comes Joe Schaefer Jr. He is closed right up to the 56, and just behind him, though, there's Bill Martin. We've seen him do some magic on fresh tires. Let's see what he can do tonight.
It'll be 12 to go. Guillaume Fortin has fallen back now, back to the 5th spot. Ellie Musgrave is running 6th here tonight, so she runs 6th. But what about Bill Martin? We talked about him earlier. You know, missing the start here, qualifying inside the top 6 and having to get that lap back. And now with just coming to get 10 to go here in a couple of laps, he is in contention here to finish on the podium yet here tonight, along with some of those championship contenders. Because remember, coming into the night, he was still technically in this one. He was just 48 points back behind Robbie Keneally. And we know Keneally has already had some problems here tonight. He'll finish deep, deep outside the top 20.
And now with Schaefer trying to get around Trey Edson. Edson doing a very good job, though, of just holding off that 6 car, closing off any sort of gap that he might make a move to. And he's going to basically force him to take the long way around. But now here comes the 6. He's going to try to cross him up off the start of turn number 4. Not going to be there, though, as Trey Edson slams the door shut into turn number 1.
So Edson gonna hold on right now. Fuller last time by was actually about 1/10 of a second slower than the rest of your top 5 contenders. 8 laps to go. If you're Edson, you just gotta sit there. And that time, Joe Schaefer Jr. said either hurry up or be moved, and he moved him down in 1. Schaefer will go now into P number 2, bumping Edson. Now Bill Martin gonna bump Trey Edson, and Edson's gonna go into the 6th. Around gonna go the 56. So Trey Edson 6th. Caution lights of the night have come out here, and that one's going to be big, Gelly, because remember, caution points count here in the Upstate Racing League, and it's towards the end of the season. Championship drivers do not want to get those caution points.
Yeah, and this is not what Fuller wanted to see. His teammate suddenly out of the picture, and now he's going to have Joe Schaefer Jr. on those fresher tires starting to his outside. And I think we're going to have a little bit more than just a green-white checkered. I think we're not going to have to pull that into play just yet. So it's going to be difficult now at this point for that 51 car to take home the win. But even still, he's up 17 positions at this point. Only one other person actually has tied him with that, and that's A.J. Hamill sitting back in 6th.
Let's first take a look back here at this replay. This is what happened to bring the caution flag out. There is the bump, and then there's Bill Martin trying to get to the inside of Edson. That's going to send Edson into the 6, and around goes Edson as he stops at the top of the track. Right on board here, right on board. This is looking back off our Xander Sign Group onboard camera. There you see the 39 was down there, and Edson knew he was in trouble, so just tried to keep his right foot in it. Hits Joe Schaefer Jr., but Schaefer bounced it off the wall and kept going. But there's going to be damage now to Joe Schaefer Jr. to that number 6 Epic Media entry. There's damage to Fuller up front. There's damage to the number 6. There's maybe a little crinkle on the fender of the 39. And then you got Guillaume Fortin back here. It's, you know, he led the most laps tonight. And he's been very quiet, but Ellie Musgrave also has been quietly sitting there inside the top 6 like all night long.
Yeah, Musgrave has been doing what I said she needed to do. She's been keeping herself out of trouble, keeping that car clean for the most part, and it's been able to just kind of work her way up into the top 10 and actually up into the top 5, but still a few more laps to go, and a few fast drivers going to be trying to take away that top 5 from her.
Or see if she can finish this one off here tonight. Taking a look at it, Justin Fuller will have the jump here on the field when we do come back racing. Let's see if we get the one to go here. I believe we should get the one to go.
Yeah, we're going to have to get the one to go. I think it will be a green-white checker, though it won't be the actual green-white checkered rule. We just are going to happen to go back green flag racing on lap number 99.
So as the lights do go out, it'll be Fuller, Schaefer, Martin, Fortin, Musgrave, your top 5. AJ Hamill's back there. Maybe it's his night to pull something out of the magical hat here. He'll restart inside your top 6. Safety car will make its way to pit road when it comes through turns 3 and 4 this time by. So let's get the pace car up out of the way. Let's come back into the Hanson Auto Shop restart zone here tonight. Carpenter's Tax Service 100 coming to an end. It'll be popsicle sticks as the green flag flies.
Yeah, 2 laps to go. 2 laps for Justin Fuller to hold off Joe Schaefer Jr. as AJ Hamill goes way up the racetrack in the background. Still going to have to keep our eyes here on the battle for the race lead as the white flag is going to fly for Justin Fuller this time around.
The Carpenter's Tax Service white flag is up here tonight. We will finish this 100-lap race off this time by Ellie Musgrave. Going to go up to the outside wall. She'll be out of contention for the win, but it will be Justin Fuller for the final time through 3. Will he be able to hold it off turn 4? Here comes Joe Schaefer Jr. He'll make a bid to the inside. It'll be Fuller holding off to pick up his 2nd win of the season. Joe Schaefer Jr. in 2nd and Bill Martin back there in 3rd. Guillaume Fortin will finish in 4th. Matthew Barkhouse in the 5th position. AJ Hamill back there in 6th. EJ O'Rourke was 7th. Brian Hackard was sitting there in 8th. Brian Rogers Jr. was 9th. And Jeremy Carpenter brings home that Oldsmobile inside the top 10.
And you could see just how much both of our race leaders wanted this, because you could just see it from how much those cars just got sideways off turn number 4. They pretty much just had their foots planted. They were just wanting to keep enough grip to keep the car from going around, but they just both made that dive towards the start-finish line. But Justin Fuller, he was able to hold off the fresher tires and the attack from that 6 machine.
So Justin Fuller does the victory donuts here tonight in the Carpenter's Tax Service 100 for the Best Colorful Creations Pro Series. We're taking a quick break here. We'll be back to Victory Lane interviews after this. Don't go anywhere, race fans. Hear what these drivers have to say about a crazy 100-lap race here in Pensacola, Florida.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12-Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back here to the Sunshine State here tonight, the Five Flag Speedway located in Pensacola, Florida. It was the Carpenter's Tax Service 100 here tonight for the Best Colorful Creations Pro Series, as they have completed 100 laps here tonight. Let's head down trackside and see if Kelly Dahl has caught up with our race winner.
Yeah, caught up now with the driver of the number 51 machine, Justin Fuller. And Justin, a huge win for you tonight. I mean, what were you thinking as soon as you saw that Robbie Keneally, your main championship contender, was caught up in that accident early on?
I mean, I still didn't really know how the car was when I got involved in the accident earlier on, so I don't really know. I don't know what happened to him. It's unfortunate. You know, he's had a great season. It's kind of like his season's kind of playing out how mine did last year, kind of falling apart at the end. We still got one more week. I got a feeling he's still going to have a pretty good points lead going into it. So, but we're going to at least be a little bit closer and in the hunt at least next week.
And next week we are going to be at Hickory, a new track to the service, and our very first time there. And what are you thinking of your chances going into the championship race?
Well, I mean, on the schedule, this is Pensacola Five Flags is my favorite track. So, I was really looking forward to this one. I wrecked off turn 4 coming to the line at qualifying, so that's why I started so bad. So I was like, I thought it was going to be a terrible night, and I consider the surface at Hickory probably similar to this. Obviously, it's a smaller track, so I don't have much time there, but I have run some laps, and I really enjoy that track, so I'm looking forward to it.
And I am getting word that it should be official. You will be the winner of the Coach's Corner Challenge, our first kind of two discipline championship. I mean, what does that mean to you to be able to go both be fast on dirt and on pavement?
I've got to thank Coach's Corner for putting that up. I'm glad to have won it. I put a lot of effort into that in all these races. I put a lot of effort in all the races, really. It's just, but those coaches' races, if you go back and look at them, I think I only had one bad one. I was really, really focusing on making sure I put those races together for sure. So I want to thank them for putting that on, and really happy to win it.
Yeah, and my stats haven't updated here just quite yet, but that should be 8 starts, 3 wins, and 5 top 5s out of the entirety of the Coach's Challenge. So what a fantastic run for you there. Congratulations once again. But before we let you go, who would you like to thank for your run here tonight and for your Coach's Corner Challenge win?
First, I got to thank Al and all the admins at the Upstate Racing League for what they do for putting this on. I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is probably the best short track league you're going to find. Between dirt and asphalt, it's a lot of fun. A lot of good guys in here. This is their first time putting on 2 series back to back in the same, at the same time. Or at least this magnitude, and it shows the quality that they put into this. I got to thank Carpenter's Tax Service for sponsoring the race. Best Colorful Creations for sponsoring the series. Thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. I'll go back and watch it tomorrow at work if I have work tomorrow. Depends on the ice and snow we're getting. So thanks to Trey Edson and all my teammates at Aftermath Motorsport, TJ O'Rourke. He finally got himself a top 14, so he'll get in the handicap next week. Thank Personal Comfort, better price. And yeah, that's about it. Just looking forward to next week, getting the season over with.
All right, thank you so much for coming and talking to us, Justin. Congratulations once again on your win tonight, and good luck to you next week at Hickory.
Thanks, Kelly. Have a good one.
That was Justin Fuller, driver of the number 51 machine and our winner here tonight at the Carpenters Tax 100 at Five Flag Speedway. And now I believe we are going to be throwing it back over to Roger.
Yeah, I've caught up with the driver of car number 6 here tonight. His name is Joe Schaefer Jr. He wheeled the Epic Media number 6 into a P number 2 run. Joe, you had the fresh tires, though, at the end of this one. What more did you need to go up there and snatch the win?
Oh, I think I just needed a few more laps. My tires were old enough compared to Justin's to where, that the initial good you get on a restart, we'd kind of leveled. So he's picking the restart and the tires are level. That's going to be a nice advantage for him for at least 2 laps. So, he was safe. I wasn't going to dump him, and I just needed a few more laps. If I would have had a few more laps, I probably could have started looking to the high side, but that's really what it boils down to, is just laps and time.
You've picked up 2 wins this season on the tour, headed into Hickory. It's an unknown track to the Upstate Racing League. We have never taken these super late models to the Hickory Motor Speedway. How do you feel about, taking home a win next week if you can, and, maybe sneaking into the top 5 in the championship standings here at the end of the season?
Well, I've not raced at Hickory once yet, so probably have to put some practice in this week. It'd be nice to finish the season on a high note after all of the downs I had this season with my headset turning off, crashing out early, just a lot of down nights. It'd be nice to finish on a high note.
Well, a great run here tonight in the Sunshine State in Florida, Joe, who made this all possible back home as the snow falls.
Yeah, I'll thank Dr. Noise Custom Diecast and Design, Bill Martin, Drew Krybeck with Epic Media, Al and all the admins for Upstate keeping this thing running, and you guys for putting on the show.
There you hear it from the number 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr. He'll finish in P number 2 here tonight. Was able to wheel and deal his way back inside the top 3 spots at the end of this one. I believe one more driver standing by. That is the 39 of Bill Martin. Kelly, I think you're down there as he's already rambling your ear off.
Yeah, caught up now with the driver of the 39 machine, Bill Martin, Dr. Noise himself. And Bill, you were supposed to start on the front row, but what kind of happened at the beginning of the race?
My Rift crashed as the race was ready to get lined up. So I had to wait until it decided that I wasn't logged into the session anymore so I could join back in. I assumed I'd come in 3-5 laps down. Luckily, it was only 1 lap down, so it worked out pretty good.
And once again, playing this tire strategy just right and getting yourselves up there. I mean, has that just become part of your routine at this point to just figure out at some point in the race when you want to come down and get tires?
I have no routine. You just kind of feel when you think it might be right, because you can't predict when the yellows are going to come out. Obviously, it's better to get them as the last person getting them. But the race is kind of short, so you don't want to go too late. So kind of closed up the window that would be a good idea of when to go. And I saw when AJ went in, I was like, holy crap, he got tires already. And then 5 laps later, I'm like, nah, that was probably a good idea. So then I did too. And yeah, it worked out pretty good. I was not expecting to finish anywhere worth a crap, considering the Rift shutting down on me. So I'll take 3rd any day over that.
Well, we got one more race ahead of us going down to Hickory Motor Speedway, and I don't know if you've had much chances to run there just yet since it's come to the service recently, but how are you feeling about your chances next week?
I have no expectations, because anytime you get into the last 3 races, everybody drives like crazy go nuts, and they make poor choices, and yeah. That's the best way to put it, is they make poor choices. So I'm just going to try to survive and just drive the car. And as I've said in the past, I know I'm close to championship, the 3 or whatever it is, but I still don't want to make my own car.
Well, I mean, with Keneally finishing towards the back of the field and you getting your 3rd place here tonight, I think you and Fuller are also both going to be in contention for this. So there's still a chance for you to paint your own car.
Damn it. But I don't want to, but I will.
Well, then I guess you just have to throw the race next week, Bill.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the crap out of that race. And that's the plan. I'm going to throw the race. Man, you made me reveal my plan.
All right. Well, we'll talk. Well, hopefully we'll hear from you again next week, as long as we don't see that 39 car buried into the wall of turn 1, lap 1. So before we let you go, though, we'd like to thank you for coming out. And who would you like to thank for your run tonight?
Well, no thanks to Joe, because he finished ahead of me, and that's points on that championship that I don't want to win. Thanks to Joe and Matt Eddy for racing with me and being my teammates, and to you guys for, I assume, doing another great show. Sometimes I watch other people's shows, and then I'm spoiled because you guys are better at it. So, take that to bed with you. And thanks to Al for putting on this dumb league that I join every year. Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming out and talking to us, Bill. And hopefully you won't stuff it into the wall early on, and we will hear from you next week.
I hope not. It's not that fun to crash.
All right. But that was Bill Martin, driver of the 39, and our 3rd place finisher tonight. And now going to send it back to Roger for a few closing thoughts.
Great run here by these Best Colorful Creations Pro Series drivers here with the Upstate Racing League. You heard from your top three there at the end of this one. Justin Fuller, Joe Schaefer Jr., Bill Martin, your top three finishers. Guillaume Fortin, disappointing, leading the most laps again, but he'll still walk away with a top 5 finish at the end of the night here. And Matthew Barkhouse rounding down the top 5. Of course, Justin Fuller and AJ Hamill both picking up your most positions gained here tonight, 17 spots for them, and what a great race. I say it every time we come to the Five Flags Speedway here with the Upstate Racing League. It is always going to be a good one. We've seen some great racing the last 5 weeks out of the drivers here with the Upstate Racing League, and unfortunately, next week when we do head to Hickory will be the final race of the season. It's coming very fast, and well, we're going to be happy to get there to watch some more of these drivers race, but it's going to be sad. And Kelly, I don't know. Are you ready for the final one?
I'm ready for the excitement that this final race is going to bring. I'm still waiting to see what the points are going to look like after tonight, but I think it is going to be right down to the wire, and I'm really excited to see what's going to happen between Fuller, Martin, Keneally, and maybe even 410. But I agree with you. I do not want the season to be over because these last few races have been fantastic.
2 championships have been clinched here tonight at the Five Flags Speedway. Robbie Keneally, of course, will pick up the championship in the Rookie of the Year category, so he will be crowned our Racing Designs Rookie of the Year champion next week when we do head to Hickory. Along with that, Justin Fuller will also pick up the Coach's Corner Challenge championship, so those drivers already securing those championships, but they are still both in the running. It was 34 points for Keneally coming into the night. That gap will be shrank by a lot. So these top drivers will all go into next week with a chance. Robbie Keneally, Justin Fuller, Bill Martin, Guillaume Fortin, and even Brian Hacker will start to close that gap too as he finished inside the top 10. So 5 drivers go into next week with a chance to win a championship here with the Upstate Racing League. But we're all going to have to wait 7 days from now. We will be right back here on the air from the Hickory Motor Speedway to bring you the final race of the Best Colorful Creations Pro Series in the Best Colorful Creations 150. But for everybody back home with the Carpenters Tax Service, everybody with Best Colorful Creation, and everybody from the Upstate Racing League, we thank you for watching tonight here. That's Kelly Dahl. I'm Roger Muth, and we will see you 7 days' time in Turn 3.